Katie McKnight. I'm an educator and I'm mom to Colin, a student at Hope Institute Learning Academy. And my husband, Jim McKnight, is over there at table 34 with me. I'd like to share a story with you tonight. It's a story about vision, courage, and tenacity. It's actually a story about warriors. And I love telling stories because I was a high school English teacher for many years, and now I'm a professor in education, and I teach future teachers. So here's the story. On a spring day about 4 years ago, my now second grade son, Colin, just finished his yearly checkup with his developmental pediatrician. Both the doctor and Colin returned to the waiting room, and I observed that they were both a bit rumpled because they had been playing cards on the floor. As Colin announced that he was hungry, my husband volunteered to go to the cafeteria for some macaroni and cheese while I talked to the doctor. Overall, the doctor was pleased with Colin's gains, and he reminded me that we needed to secure the most and best resources because the clock was ticking. The more we can do early on, he explained, the better the future. I listened to his advice, and I assumed that our discussion about Colin was over when he said, "So how about you, Mom? How are you managing as you and Jim navigate these waters with Colin?" I struggled to explain to him how frustrated and angry I was, that fellow educators, specialists, and experts who are more concerned about sharing their opinions than in supporting and finding solutions for my son Colin. I told the doctor, I'm tired of fighting with people who should know better. The doctor responded, "Katie, you fight for your son because you're a warrior, and you need to find the other warriors." I've never forgotten those words. I knew what he meant. After all, I'm an educator, and I've always been willing to take on a good fight, especially on behalf of an underdog. I've been working in and with underserved schools for over 20 years, so I kind of get it. But this was different. It was my son. For the next 3 years, Colin went to schools where we were told that he isn't like the other kids and that he needs something extra, he needs something more. Everyone was very willing to give their opinions about Colin, but very unwilling to really find solutions. On school mornings, my husband and I would have to convince Colin that it would be a great day today at school. Colin would whine, "I told you, Mama, I'm never not going to school ever again." And when I picked him up after school, I knew that he felt like the odd man out. I could see it all over his face. He tolerated school, and it wasn't a place of joy for him. About a year ago, I flipped through the neighborhood paper and stumbled over an ad about a new school in the West Loop, dedicated to inclusive education. The ad looked too good to be true. Immediately, I started my research on Hope Institute. Of course, I started with a Google search. From there, I talked to every special educator that I knew in the state of Illinois. I soon learned that Hope Institute was a kingdom of warriors, and tenacious ones at that. Today, Colin is in the second grade at Hope Institute Learning Academy. Colin doesn't complain about school anymore. And believe it or not, he often asks to do his homework. When I volunteered to chaperone a class trip to Lincoln Park Zoo in January, yes, January, I felt warmth the entire day. I really did, even though it was snowing. The children, all of the children, really took care of each other. When one child needed some help with tying their shoes, a classmate was there to help. When one classmate boarded the bus, about 5 of his classmates asked the teacher if his wheelchair was on board. At lunch, there was laughter and excitement about all that they had seen that day. These second graders take care of each other, and this is what inclusive education is all about. Everyone is included and loved for the individual gifts in this democratic community. His teacher, Colin's teacher, Miss Jordan, well, she's a gentle warrior. She built this classroom community, and her colleague, Miss Mahold, Colin's special education teacher, she's another tenacious warrior. She is completely dedicated to the Hope ideal of maximum benefit. This room tonight has many of their colleagues in the room. Colin finally found the other warriors in his teachers and classmates and the entire Hope professional community who unconditionally believe in him. Hope Institute Learning Academy is just nearing its first year, and there's still much more work to be done. More books, completion of a library, computer-assisted technology, smart boards are just, of course, a few examples. Continued professional support, training, all of that, and of course all of it requires funding. It's a young school, it's just closing on its first year, but I have no doubt that it will become become the diamond in the city. How can I be so sure? Well, because it's filled with warriors, and warriors never quit. It was a doctor, a warrior, who founded Hope almost 50 years ago. And warriors, they don't quit. A group of visionaries from Hope opened a public school in Chicago. Warriors don't quit. A little boy who found school difficult now enjoys doing homework. Warriors don't quit. Recognizing and providing for children who are beautifully different. Warriors just don't quit. And I'm so happy to be in a room filled with warriors. Because you know what? Warriors don't quit. Thank you.